What is going on? Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining Dylan and I for another Bay State After Hours. What's going on, Dylan?
Hey, thanks for having me back again. I know last time I was here, we talked about flock, so I'm excited to talk about some equine stuff.
I know. I'm very excited. This is actually our first equine one. So
yeah,
it's going to be, it's definitely going to be a lot of good information today. So to start out, what we're going to say is, so the platform that I use is called StreamYard, and they've been having a little bit of difficulties with Facebook, I guess. So this may cut out a little bit in between on Facebook. If that happens, you can go right over to our YouTube channel. YouTube will be continuing to stream, but Facebook might be in and out. Also, we're giving away some prizes today. So if you comment your favorite supplement in the comment section, we will pick a random winner after the show and be able to win some cool prizes, which we'll announce at the end of the show. So, all right. So to start, Dylan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself again, and maybe a little bit about Purina.
Yeah. So you had me on a couple weeks ago, and I talked about flock. I'm Dylan Dabrowski. I'm the Purina specialist with Purina. I cover most of New England and some of New York as well. And I was here talking about flock. I cover all species, but the cool thing is equine is actually my specialty. I am a rider myself. My background is very, very strong in horse. I have an undergraduate degree that specializes in equine management. Did a lot of work with equine reproduction, and then went on to get my master's degree in business. And now I'm the nutrition specialist for Purina and focus a lot on equine, as Kevin knows. I do a lot with horses in the area. Monica's commenting Outlast, great product. So Purina, for those of you that don't know, we are not the dog food company. A lot of people think Purina, they think dog and cat. Fun fact, we're actually owned by Land O'Lakes. Land O'Lakes is the butter company. But, Land O'Lakes is much more than a butter company. They're a, overall agriculture company that owns a crop and seed company that, grows the ingredient that we then use to manufacture grain for animals. And then, we take, the produce from those animals to then feed people. So we're not, the dog and cat food. We are a different company, Purina Mills rather than Nestle Purina. So that's who we are.
So let's start with your this thing called taking your supplement for a test ride.
Yeah. So go ahead, Kev.
No, I was just going to ask you, what is it?
Yeah. So it is something new that Purina developed as a way to evaluate your feed. All the horse owners watching right now, you would never go out and buy a horse without taking it for a test ride, right? We don't expect you to buy a feed without somebody taking your feed through a test ride. So we developed this acronym, test ride. Research ingredient dose efficacy is what R.I.D.E stands for. And basically, Purina takes all of our feeds and our supplements through this test ride. It's something that we're the only company doing, making sure that all 4 points of that criteria are met, and it really makes us unique as a company doing this. And we understand that as horse owners, you spend a lot of money on your horses, and when you buy feed, you want it to work and you want to do what it says. So that's one of the reasons we developed this test ride acronym.
And it's so hard to make a right decision because there's so many different types of feed out there to begin with. Even Purina themselves have tons of different, I don't know if you know the exact number, but we have at least half the warehouse is full of Purina. So
yeah, I mean, there are tons and tons of different feeds. So, one of the things we do as a company is we try to offer a lot for all different types of horses, but we want to make sure that they're all research backed and actually work. And I'm here to help people figure out what feed to their horse. I'm a resource. You're a resource. So that's one of the benefits to having us.
So let's just jump right into it. Let's start with R. So the R that's in test ride.
Yeah. So R is research. So basically, is there published scientific data about the supplement that the company is talking about in horses? And that's something that's really, really key, right? Some people will show you data for a supplement that's being used in horses, but the research is actually done in a different species, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Really? They do stuff like that?
That is
crazy.
A lot of companies actually do that. They'll have research in dogs, or they will have research in rats, and then they'll take that research and say, "Wow, this works in this species. It has to work in horses." But that's not necessarily the case, right? Horses have a different digestive tract than other species. So just because something works in one species doesn't mean it's necessarily going to work in another. So you want to make sure that there's scientific data in horses. You also want to make sure that it's sound scientific research. Okay. A research study on 11 horses for a new supplement is not sound research. 11 horses is not a big enough pool to get scientific data. You're talking about thousands of horses and hundreds of hours of research, if not,
and all different lifestyles too.
Correct. All different lifestyles and different breeds of horses, right? I won't mention the company. There's another large feed company out there that puts a supplement in their grain, and it's backed by a research study that literally uses 11 horses, all thoroughbreds as well. So
all thoroughbreds.
All thoroughbreds. So research is really important. One, that they have it in horses, and two, that it's sound research. So that is the first, part of the test ride, is looking at research, especially peer-reviewed and sound research.
So how confident can customers be in Purina's research?
That is a great question. And Kevin's actually been out to the research farm that we have. So we actually have a 1,200 acre research farm. It's on the screen right now, that is totally dedicated to research in animal feed. And we have 55 PhDs on staff that their whole workday is formulating and making sure that there's sound research behind the products that we put out. So that's you can be very, very confident. I mean, one of our products, Outlast, which you guys have all heard of, had 5 years of research before it even came to market. 5 years is a very, very long time.
I remember when I went out to the farm, they were talking about this new product that was coming out. They wouldn't give out specifics about it, but it ended up being Outlast. So it's kind of cool that I could see some of the research that they were putting into it even before the product was even onto market yet.
Yeah. So I mean, we put thousands of hours and a lot of money behind getting sound research. But you know what? Our products work at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, all that research, definitely pays off. So and it's nice that as consumers, we don't have to worry about doing our own research. We can just, trust that it has already went through it.
And we, as far as I know, are the only company that has a research farm like this. So it's something very unique.
And so we'll go on to the next letter. I for ingredients.
Yeah. So ingredients. So do the ingredients in the feed actually support the claim that, is being made in the marketing, right? So I'll use Outlast for an example again here. Right, we're claiming that it is a gastric buffer. There are a lot of things out there that claim they are gastric buffers. One of the latest copycats of Outlast is people saying that they're using calcium carbonate as an ingredient to buffer, and calcium carbonate just isn't going to be the right ingredient for that. It's not going to buffer to the capability of Outlast. So is the ingredient actually doing what it says it's doing? Outlast, as an example, is a calcium that we harvest off the coast of Iceland. Okay, we are the only ones who are able to get it, and we know that that ingredient specifically buffers stomach acid at a very rapid rate and helps raise the pH of the stomach. And we know that, going back to research, because that ingredient specifically was tested against a lot of different other products and ingredients on the market, and other ingredients that we were potentially thinking about using. And Outlast, that seaweed-derived calcium that we harvest off the coast of Iceland, very, very specific, not just any seaweed either, works the best. So that ingredient is actually doing what we're claiming it's doing. The other thing is that ingredient safe and legal to put in horse feed? Right? So
yeah, that's something you really should think about, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're showing a horse. In a show, there are a lot of ingredients that aren't legal. You also need to look at state regulations as well. There's a governing body called AFCO that regulates what is allowed to be put in horse feed. Just recently, literally 2 months ago, and that maybe not even, there is a large feed brand that puts MSM in their horse feed, and they sell it in New Hampshire. You are not legally allowed to put MSM in horse feed and sell it on the commercial market in New Hampshire, nor Massachusetts. It is being sold here as of right now. But New Hampshire actually put a stop sale on it and contacted that feed company and banned them from selling that feed in New Hampshire because it's not legal in that state to do that.
Interesting.
So that's an example of AFCO coming down on a feed company and enforcing something.
So I know AFCO does a lot with the dog food, that it's all the same on the horse side as well.
Yeah, so it's the American Association of Feed Control Officers. So it is basically the governing body of feed. And a lot of people, horses never think of that. But that is the governing body. Talking about governing bodies, I also want to mention that there's only one piece of a feed bag that is actually regulated, and that is the feed tag. You could make any claim you want on the bag, and there's no label or marketing regulation. So you could write, calming horse feed, right? And it doesn't actually need to be calming horse feed. No one's enforcing that. You could write low starch and sugar on your bag, and the feed can actually not be low starch and sugar. No one's enforcing that. The only thing that's enforced is the guaranteed analysis. It's the only thing enforced on a feed bag.
That's crazy, because even when let's go back to the dog food, just because I have a background in the dog food. So even brands aren't allowed to put beef flavored unless there's a certain amount of actual beef in there, or they can't say made with real beef unless there's at least 30% actual beef in there. But on horse grain, they could literally put anything on the package. Yes. As long as it's not on the tag, they could put anything on the package. And
yes, the tag is regulated. The package is not. Yes, it's nuts. So there are companies that literally claim low starch and sugar. But then you look at the feed tag and they don't even guarantee the starch and sugar. So make sure when, going back to ingredients, that the ingredient is actually doing what they claim, and that it's safe and legal.
That's crazy. Just throwing this out there real quick. Jennifer says, "Preach! Everybody needs to know this." I agree. I agree. This is something that everybody should know about. When they're feeding their animals, the animals are our children. Like, let's be real here. We should know what's going into the foods.
Yeah. So it shocks a lot of people when I talk about this, but yeah, just got to be woke.
Got to be woke. I think you might be a little bit too old to be saying that. All right, let's move on to D for dose.
Yeah, so dose is the inclusion rate of the ingredient the proper dose. Going to use Outlast here as an example again. We know that when you take Outlast as a supplement, to get the gut to raise to a pH between a 4 and 6, which is the goal, right? That's what you want when you feed Outlast. You want to decrease the acidity. You need to feed 200 grams to a 1,000-pound horse, to have that effect on the horse. That's the proper dose, 200 grams. Now, when you take a supplement and you put it into a feed, you're diluting it.
Yep.
Okay. So that 200 grams is being spread out over the feed.
Through a 50-pound bag, yeah.
Through a 50-pound bag, right? So we know you need to feed 4 pounds of a grain typically to get the 200-gram dose of Outlast. So, there are companies out there that, put new, trendy ingredients and supplements in their feed. But if you ask them, how much do I need to feed to have it to be a proper dose and have an effect? They can't tell you. We could tell you exactly how much you need to feed to have an effect. And that's what I mean by dose. Another example of this, biotin. Okay. Yep. Many feeds will claim to have biotin on their, in their feed. Well, how much of that feed do you need to feed to have a therapeutic dose of that biotin? 15 milligrams is a therapeutic dose. Okay. Yep. So if you look at the feed tag and you figure out how much biotin is actually in there, a lot of the times, they're putting a sprinkle of biotin in the bag and they're saying there's biotin in there. But meanwhile, if you wanted to have a therapeutic dose, you would have to feed the 50-pound bag.
Yeah. Oh my word.
So, I talked about MSM in horse feed before. It's not legal, first of all. So that's the first issue. The second issue is for you to have a therapeutic dose of that, you would also have to basically feed the horse the whole bag. It's so diluted in the bag. So dose is really, really important. We're going to talk about Omega Match here in a minute, but Omega Match has biotin added into it at a therapeutic dose. We know that if you feed 2 pounds, you get 15 milligrams of biotin. But we know that because of we did our research. It took a very long time to develop Omega Match. We'll get into that later. But that's dose.
Yeah, and not only have I had the great opportunity to go see the research farm, I actually got to see the mill too. And as they're making the feed, it's very scientific. Like it's not like what you said. They're not just sprinkling the stuff on top of the pile and calling it a day. Like it's very scientific as far as how much they're putting in, when they're putting it in. It's crazy.
Everything is measured down to a T. And to go beyond that, the ingredients that come into the mill are measured before we even decide to use the ingredient because it's got to meet a strict standard.
Perfect. So last is E. What does E stand for?
Efficacy. So this is probably the most important thing. Do you actually see a difference when you feed the product? Right? We could make sure we have the research and the proper ingredients and the proper dose. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't actually work and you don't see a difference, then what's the point of using the product? So, to get proper efficacy, you need to have research, the proper ingredient, the proper dosage to even give yourself a chance to make an effect. But if you're not seeing an effect, the product's not working. And a lot of times I've seen horse owners, they will buy a supplement, and they will feed it, and they're not really seeing a big difference. So then they add in a new supplement, but they don't get rid of the old one.
Yeah.
Right. And then, next thing you know, they're buying 3 or 4 supplements, and none of them are really working because, none of them have been put through the test ride.
Yeah.
So, or maybe they try to buy a couple cheaper ingredients rather than buying the more expensive one. And they're not seeing a difference. But if they would have not bought the cheaper ones and just said, "Hey, Kevin, what's the best thing you got?" And you directed them to the best supplement that passes the test ride, and they spent a little more money, they're going to see a difference right away. So that is probably the most important thing, that you see a difference.
Yeah, and I think one of the other biggest issues is like a lot of people feed supplements and they don't even know the reason why they're feeding the supplement. So they don't, like you said, they don't even know what they're looking for. They don't see a difference. They're just doing it because that's what they were told, or every horse is different. You don't necessarily have to feed every horse the same way.
Correct. And we get so caught up on the advertising and marketing that you read something on the bag and you're like, wow, this is what I need. But you're never, we don't take the time to go back and look at the research that's available on the web. I mean, if you go on to PurinaMills.com, we have hundreds, if not thousands, of research reviews that you could go and you could see the actual studies that we did. So it's a really neat concept. None of you horse owners go out, like I said in the beginning, go out and buy a horse without taking it through a test ride. We don't expect you to do that with a supplement. We don't expect you to do that with a feed either. You could, when you use Purina products, rest assured they've all been taken through the test ride process, or we don't sell them. I mean, we've had products that we developed for, or started research on, and we spent the whole year researching and realized that it wasn't going to work. Millions of dollars that we just ended up scrapping and never to market because we don't want to put our name on something that doesn't work.
Yeah, and you guys have a ton of patents on all different types of stuff too. I think last time I was there, you guys had like, what was it, 88? I don't know if it's expanded since then.
It's growing all the time. Yes.
Yeah, so you guys are constantly evolving, constantly changing, and it's great as a retailer to know I can count on Purina to continue to change and continue to evolve and continue to help these horses out,
Yeah. Speaking of, should we talk a little bit about Omega Match?
Yeah, that sounds great.
So Omega Match is our new product. Do you guys have it in stock yet?
We do. Actually, it just came in the last order,
So Omega Match is a really cool new supplement or ration balancer, and it is a limited ingredient ration balancer that has a lot of cool perks to it. One, it's limited ingredient. It's formulated without corn, soy, wheat, molasses, and it's a Timothy-based product, which is very unique. So that's the first cool thing about it. Second, it has Outlast added into it. And we know that you need to feed 2 pounds of Omega Match to have a therapeutic dose of Outlast. So if you feed 2 pounds of of Omega Match, we know that you get 200 grams of Outlast. We also know that if you feed 2 pounds of it, you're going to get 500 IUs of organic vitamin E. We say there's organic vitamin E in there, but we can tell you exactly how much to feed to get a therapeutic dose. We also, like I said earlier, biotin is in there at a therapeutic dose of 15 milligrams at 2 pounds. So all of those, those additives that we put in Omega Match was taken through the test ride to make sure they work. I will mention that Omega Match has been researched for 3 years. So a very long time. It was nicknamed Dr. Green when it was getting researched. No one really knew about it in Purina except for the research PhDs and veterinarians on staff at the farm and marketing that was involved. So it was a long time coming. I mean, all of our products take years to develop and come to market because when they do, we know that they work. But there it is. So Omega Match right there.
Yeah, I figured to just bring it up on the screen here.
So very, very cool product. There's nothing out there like it. If your horse has allergies, a great product. Also, I forgot to mention omegas. It's right in the name, right? So there's actually a really unique source of omega for the oil and the ration balancer. We actually import it over from England. It's a unique flour. We've nicknamed it ahi flour. Its scientific name is very hard to pronounce. It's on, if you go research it, it's in there. But it's a proprietary ingredient. We're the only one that can get it. So anybody tries to copy us, they're not going to be able to. I will tell you that it provides more omegas than flaxseed, more omegas than fish oil.
Wow,
So,
really?
yes. It is one of the most effective sources for omegas. Very, very efficient and effective. And that was researched for a very long time. But that goes back to the ingredient part of things, right?
Yeah.
We found this very unique ingredient from England that does the best job that we're able to use.
So what horse should be on the Omega Match?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So anybody who has an easy keeper, who needs 2 pounds or 3 pounds of feed, and they can maintain body weight on that, this would work for. So it's like a ration balancer, like Enrich. Now the thing that makes it really unique is if you have a horse with allergies, you can also feed this product up to 6 pounds. So if you have a hard working horse, this is technically a ration balancer, but it could also be fed up to 6 pounds. And it's limited ingredients. So if you're trying to avoid soy, or you're trying to avoid wheat or molasses, this is a product that will fit your needs. There's nothing out there like it. And it's Timothy based. It's the only product we make that is Timothy based. It's a whole new manufacturing, capability, basically. So
that's awesome. That's super exciting.
You could also top dress this if you want extra omegas.
Yeah.
So.
You guys make like an oil too, right?
Yeah, you buy the oil
in yet, but.
Yeah, so you can bring the oil in, and you top dress it if you're looking for a little extra bloom or shine. Nice shiny hair coat, or a little extra support for their hooves. The oil will be great for that. Comes in a gallon and a 32-ounce bottle.
Nice. Now, are you thinking of any treats or anything down the road, or?
Hey, I don't know what's next on that. I wouldn't be surprised. We're always innovating. I'm sure they're working on something right now.
I'm sure they are.
Like I said, they were working on this. Dr. Green is what they were calling Omega Match for 3 years. I had no idea. And I had gone out to the research farm a ton, and they don't share that with us.
And you work for Purina.
Yeah.
And they didn't even share it with you.
No, so
I'm assuming that's because they want to make sure that they're giving out the absolute best product, and they don't want anything to leak out, like you said, because they've wiped products away before. They've probably developed products and come all the way to almost the final stage, and then it just didn't meet what their expectations were, and they've gotten rid of it. So they don't want to build up a hype just to have to turn it away. So
correct. And also they're so secretive because, I'm sure people copy us, right?
Yeah.
We were the first company to make an equine a senior feed. Everybody now makes a senior feed. We were the first company to make a high fat feed. Now everybody makes a high fat feed. We're the first company to bring out a product like Outlast that actually works for digestive support in feed.
Yep.
Now everybody's trying to copy us. I give it a year. I bet you everybody tries to come out with a product to match Omega Match. It's a trend. So
take it as a compliment, right?
Hey, I'll take it as a compliment.
Perfect. I don't have any more questions. If you have anything else you want to touch on, we can start going to questions.
Yeah. Do we have questions?
Yeah, we have a couple questions. So just before we end, everybody, just so you know, we are giving away some stuff today. So if you want to just comment your favorite supplement in the comment section, we'll be picking a random winner to win today. So, the first question is, it was during the Omega Match. So would it take place of the alfalfa pellets that they're currently feeding instead of grain?
Yeah. So I guess I would ask why you're feeding alfalfa pellets. But certainly, if you're doing it to have limited ingredients and more of a forage-based diet, like I said, it's Timothy-based, so it could take the place of alfalfa pellets. You're going to get a lot more out of this than alfalfa pellets. Like I said, you're going to get the organic vitamin E. You're going to get the biotin. You're going to get the omegas. You're not getting any of that from the alfalfa. You're also going to get the outlast. So it could certainly take the place of the alfalfa pellets. It would be a big improvement, probably.
Perfect. And then we had another question here. This is cautionary supplements. Anything for a miniature horse and pony?
Actually, Omega Match would be great. It is low calorie.
Perfect.
Yeah, low calorie, and it is extremely low in starch and sugar. So very, very safe for insulin-resistant horses, cushion horses, any metabolic issues. Omega Match is really going to be perfect. And it's not very high calorie. You need to feed 2 pounds a day to meet the daily requirements for the horse. So great for a miniature horse or pony, or even a very fat horse.
Perfect. I think that's all the questions that we have.
Great.
Oh yeah, we had one more, but I think you just touched base on that.
Oh
so,
yes,
perfect.
Accidentally touched base on that, but yes. So that would be great for that. The one thing I want to mention is if you guys ever have questions, and you want somebody to talk to, you could contact Bay State, Kevin at the store, and he's got all my contact information. If he doesn't have the answer, he could put you in touch with me, and I'm happy to talk with anybody on the phone, via text, or even come out to your farm and do a farm consult on your horse, which is a free service, and talk to you about feed.
Yeah, you've done plenty of farm calls for us.
Yeah.
So if anyone is interested in a farm call, you can comment below, or you can send me an email. Yeah, we can definitely get that going. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and if you want to try a product, we also do feed trials. So just another thing that we want you to try our feeds and be comfortable with it. So we could set that up as well.
All right. Oh yeah. People are saying that they had no idea. Yeah. Reach out, definitely. Dylan's done quite a few barn calls for us, so he definitely goes out. And are you able to get the scale all the time, or?
Yeah, I can get the scale. We come out, we weigh your horses. Kevin and I actually took a trip.
Actually weigh them too.
Yeah, we went to Martha's Vineyard, right? And we brought.
We went out to the vineyard.
Yeah. So a lot of fun things. So
perfect. Yeah, it looks like we have plenty of people that are interested in the barn call, so that'll be great. So we're just gonna do our giveaways. Actually, I'm gonna do them after the show, and I'll post the winner just because it's a little bit difficult for me to be able to look at both. But I'll say what the prizes are. So I have a prize here. We made up a little basket, an absorbing basket. You got some fly spray, you got some roll-on, you got some good stuff in there.
That fly spray is going to come in handy now. It's fly season.
Yeah, I know. Oh my word, the flies around here.
It's getting bad.
It's insane. I'm assuming it's because we had such a mild winter.
Yeah.
And it's just everything's coming out. The ticks are bad this year too.
Yeah.
And Dylan, you were talking about you wanted to give some away too?
Yeah, I definitely want to give out a bag of supplement. I think we saw some people comment about Outlast. We can do Outlast. We can do Omega Match. However you want to pick a winner, Kev, you just let me know, what we're going to give that winner.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put everybody who commented their favorite supplement into a random generator after the show. I'm gonna put everybody in there. We'll do a random generator and then pump it out, and I'll post it after this. Melissa, I know you said that your horse is afraid of the scale. But we actually went, when we went to the vineyard, there was a horse who was a little bit skittish of the scale, and you did a great job with that. So you were able to, slowly.
It takes a minute, right? They get used to it, and you let them sniff it, and just like them being afraid of anything else, and eventually they get right on it. So, but anyway, Kevin, I really appreciate you having me out here and talking.
Thanks, Dylan. I really appreciate it, and thank you everybody who joined us tonight. My name is Kevin. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can email me, kevin@baystatepet.com. And I had to throw that out there. We all are. We're all afraid of that COVID wait. So thanks, guys. Thank you, everybody, and we really appreciate all of your support. And we'll see you on the next one.